New season of the show Dexter has just ended, and shockingly, they've killed Dexter. I've seen the scores on IMDb, so the last episodes were scored around 4 or 5 out of 10. So it's very low compared to the other episodes because some episodes are higher 9, some episodes are lower 8s. So the scale is actually pretty narrow, but the last episode has either 4 or 5 out of 10. So it's very low. So we are very happy Dexter is back, and we all wanted to see if there's anything more to the show, and the answer is yes, because they have made a new season. So he was a chopper, he was chopping the woods at the last scene of the season 8, and we all thought that was it. The Dexter is finished. So, but they surprised us. They kind of made a reunion, and you can even see Jennifer, as known as Deborah Morgan, acting at the new series as a ghost, but she's still there, Jennifer Carpenter. So I think it's very great that she's still there because she's a little controversial, but she's also very liked character. So the new season, Dexter will meet with his son and they will spend some time together. Dexter will show some things to Harrison and he thinks it will be useful to him in the future because he will have urge to kill. So Dexter pretty much teaches him the job, the serial killer job, which is a little bit insane. And it is I think very opinionated, and it's not neutral. So Dexter is not neutral with that, and he thinks my son will be a killer and I should teach him the code. I think Dexter is an amazing show. I am not heavily biased on the last season, but I can say this: the first 8 seasons are really great. I watch it on rerun sometimes and I really enjoy that. So it's pretty much an amazing show. Have all kind of action, killings, serial killings, intelligence and cleverness, anything, puzzles and psychology, positive negative psychology, and it also have some very deep characters. And Dexter, Deborah, they are very, very deep characters. They have endured many things in their lives, and it is kind of great to see how they develop towards the final seasons. So Dexter do have some controversial characters. Some people hate LaGuardia, many people actually hate Deborah Morgan, and some people hate the babysitter nanny Jamie. Some people hate Quinn. It's a very polarizing job, but I think there is one actor that is loved by most of the people, nearly all people, and that is Dexter, Michael C. Hall. He's actually very talented on his show, and he makes show way better without him if it was any version. And it's very great to watch, actually. It's very great to watch. It's very enjoyable to watch. It's a great show. It's a great show. Have all sort of things: drama, action, killings, psychology, any kind of life. So there are many side characters on the show, and we know them very, very well. Some of them, like Yuan Ostrovsky, and we all think she's very pretty, and we all knew her from the series Chuck. So many actors and actresses are playing on the show, acting on the show, and it's very great. It's one of the benefits and great side of the show, positive side. And I think the season 6, 7, and 8 were remarkable because those seasons we could actually see Deborah getting close to know Dexter's true identity, and it shifts their perception of the life, and it shifts their relationship they have with each other. So this kind of shift makes the series much more interesting because Deborah does know Dexter is a serial killer. So will she, as a lieutenant, will she arrest him, or will she shoot him, then arrest him? It all depends on her, and the producers, I think they're very smart to do that. They make Deborah fall in love with Dexter. So Dexter is not a biological brother to Deborah. They are not related by blood. They're brothers and sisters, but not actually biological brothers and sisters. They were raised as brothers and sisters. So they call each other brother and sister. And since they're not biological, I think it's some kind of gross, but it's not that gross. It would be way more gross if it was biological. The show gets more interesting. Deborah confesses her love to Dexter, and Dexter just says, "What do you mean by that? What do you mean you're in love with me?" He doesn't understand, as many people would not understand, because it's kind of absurd, really. It's very absurd to actually think that one sibling, perhaps not biological, but one sibling could fall in love with each other. It's very absurd, I think. So, but the show do actually gets very interesting because they will have more ups and downs, and Deborah will not be able to completely judge the character of Dexter because she's blinded by love. And that's one point. Because if she was neutral towards him, or she did love him but was not in love with him, the show would pretty much end it. Because Deborah would shoot Dexter on the foot, on the leg, and they would take him and arrest him, LaGuardia and Deborah. But since Deborah did not want to see his brother and lover on the electric chair or prison for a lifetime, she shot LaGuardia, and they pretty much made LaGuardia shots by another person's gun. So they have framed the other guy, and they have framed the situation as LaGuardia shot him, and the other guy, I think he was the one to murder Dexter's biological mother, to shoot LaGuardia. The series can't get enough of shootings. There will always be people which are dead. There will always be people dying and adding new characters, leaving the show, leaving the characters, leaving the main characters, and dying, leaving the series by dying. So there is no shortage of list to death in the show Dexter. And the show do actually have many religious figures. Like at season 6, it was all about Bible and solving Bible. Very, very religious. The show pretty much was in a church. And we kind of saw all the Armageddon in the show Dexter. So it was very religious, and to actually be able to see the character Dexter, which is an atheist, his son goes to a religious school because He thinks my son might want to learn this sort of things in the future. So I think he is being a clever father. He doesn't have to send them, but he has to keep this in mind. His son can be different from him, and I think he does this right on the sixth season. But last season, he will not be able to do this, and this will actually kill him. If he could see his son was different from him, would want a different life, he would actually be alive. So he made the mistake Dexter's father Harry made. Harry thought to himself, there is no other way than my son being a killer, so I must train him. And Dexter made the same mistake. He said, my son will definitely be a killer and I should raise him that way, but I should teach him that way because he should be able to protect himself in order to not to get caught and not to be hanged by the police officers, by the state. So that's wrong, and Harrison is definitely a different person, and that's what is killing him. That will kill him at the end of the season. And that's a spoiler if you haven't watched. Yeah, definitely a good show. The last season were nice. The last episode was not. And disappointing. If you will revive a character, and make a show about him all over again after some kind of 10 years, why kill him? If you will kill him, why make a show? It's absurd. The last episode is very absurd. Very absurd. And it doesn't represent the soul of the show Dexter. It doesn't represent. This is not what we saw at 8th season. Can you think a character like Dexter could go and live 10 years without killing anybody? He had these urges. If he didn't kill for 3 days, he would definitely break down, burst out and harm people. So he will fantasize about killing people. But it's insane actually that Dexter could get through 10 years without killing anybody. It's amazing and it's insane. And I think one of the saddest parts of the show, unfortunately, is Deborah dying. Deborah is one of my favorite characters in the show. I know she is very polarizing, but I think she genuinely cares about her brother. Genuinely cares about her brother, even to the point that she dies for him. If it weren't for Dexter, Deborah would have called the police and arrest Dexter. Because she loved him, she couldn't do it. And if she did arrest him, she would never be out of the lieutenant job, and she would go on, continue, make her actually safe, and she could have a better life. So this video is about a show, but also about an idea. So the choices we have in our lives, will shape our future. You can literally die if you have wrong choices in your life. You can go OD, you can have intoxications, and you can actually try to kill yourself, or you can go to war, and if you are not prepared enough, you can actually die. So true and good choices are important, and that's a show, I think, about choices, and that's a show that is making their way out of to show the importance of the choices. So I want you to get this from this video. Your choices is what depends and makes your life. Your choices makes who you are. You are you because of your choices. So choose wisely. And I'll get to see you in the next video. Take care.